Welcome back to the Etc. Podcast. I'm your host Victor, along with my co-host Mark. How you doing, sir?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm good, man. How you feeling? How's your weekend? What you been up to?
Uh, I've been chilling. A thought of mine came to me when we were setting up. That recently I ended up watching Madagascar, the second one though.
Okay,
It was a funny movie.
classic.
And it's just like I don't know, like it's crazy to think that we were blessed with such a movie like that at a young age.
Which one did we go see in theaters? It was like
That's
back. It
true.
was like
That
Return
was
to Africa or
That's
something.
the second one. That's the second one. Yep, that's so true. I totally freaking forgot that we actually went to the movies to watch that. That's so crazy. Wow.
In
that's
Chamonix
that's
Mall.
hilarious.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah. That's so funny. But yeah, I went to go watch that and man, I'll tell you, the person that thought of King Julian is like the smartest person ever. Like that
yeah. That's a
character
good character.
that character is without a doubt the most funniest character in cartoon history. Like I
and,
cannot believe it.
and it still carries on. Like people still make like memes about it, or whatever. Like I saw one that it's kind of sad, but it was him in a wheelchair. He's like, Maurice, I cannot move it no more. Mauricio.
Yeah, bro. That shit is so funny. Like no matter where he goes, I love his thought process too. It's like no matter where he goes, he considers himself king no matter where he goes. So
Yeah.
like he'll always put himself above others and just think everybody else sucks, but he'll always make something just the way he wants to, and it always works out.
And so much came out of that movie.
Yes.
Because it's like obviously like the movie itself,
Mhm.
and then there's like the Penguins
The
of
Penguins, yeah,
Madagascar.
they
They
had
got
their
their own
own
show. I think they
thing.
got their own movie or something. Like
Probably.
something else
Most
came
likely.
out of it. Then there's the video games. I played the video games were actually hard, like
I wonder I feel like I did
tough.
too, but I can't remember.
I remember like yeah, it was on PS2, and then there was a point where you got to like control the penguins, and you were like on a ship, and you had to
Mhm.
like maneuver way through. It was tough.
Yeah, I
They
think I
they made
remember.
good like when they made movie adaptation games back then. They were actually like decent. Some of them
Were.
they
Some
were
of
hit or
them were.
miss.
I ain't gonna lie. One movie that didn't make good for a game was Monster House.
I didn't play that.
Yeah, but you remember the movie, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
With that meme where the boy who runs, he works at the place, he runs and he grabs the food, and then just walks away. That shit always so funny. But yeah, when they made that game, I remember I played it and I was like, yeah, no, this ain't it. This ain't like what I was watching. But yeah, I watched that movie. It was really funny. And besides that, yeah, just been working and
King Julian.
yeah, I think I always kept trying to get away from Mort.
Good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up. I saw my sister yesterday. I got home and I saw my sister. She was watching Flushed Away, and I was like, "That's kind of
That
random."
was one of the movies I was gonna watch. It was me and Emma. We were gonna watch that, but we decided. Well, I don't think it was that day, but I did end up seeing that on Netflix. And I was
Mhm.
like, wow, bro, I remember this movie. So crazy. That freaking like animation.
You know what's another good one that's like that? It's
What?
like in for me, it's like in that same genre of like movie, Hoodwinked.
Okay,
It was
yeah.
about like Little Red Riding
But
Hood
it
and like the
was
wolf and like the little squirrel, like Dynamite.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. But I think that was like an adaptation of like this is what they really kind of acted like. Like if you
hmm
were to take behind the scenes and not just off of a book, this is how they really acted.
yeah, that or like Over the Hedge, like
Over the hedge. Uh, okay, that's when there was all the like backyard like
the bushes and
animals. Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. I remember was he a squirrel or was he more of
there was
like a
one in there.
chipmunk? I don't
Yeah,
know. Yeah, it was him
I
and
feel like all
then
those movies are like just like lumped into a certain.
Over the Hedge I gotta watch again because I actually I love that movie. I just haven't watched it in forever.
Yeah, good stuff though.
Yeah.
Yeah, my weekend was a little different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but for the people at home that don't know, Quinn and I stopped by at a Bikini Bottom rave, and
Yep.
if
Be
that doesn't make
serious.
sense to you, yeah, if that doesn't make sense to you, it was just basically a rave of like bunch of rave music, also meshed with SpongeBob, and it's as fun as it sounds. Everybody just came up in like costume and shit. I was dressed like regular as hell. Like I had like a fit, like I threw a fit on, but it was just like I felt like underdressed because everybody's wearing SpongeBob shit. If I would have known, I would have gone all out.
Should have, bro. Should have just had brown pants, button up white
Nah, that would have. I
t-shirt.
would still, bro. People were going hard, bro. Somebody had like like when he was playing the Goofy Goober song.
Mhm.
There was a couple people that had like that outfit like to the T.
Wow.
Somebody had like this weird jellyfish hat. And there was ones that were like it's not like basic ones either. It was
Like
ones that were like
very
very
like
niche, like SpongeBob
probably from
references.
one episode.
Yeah, that it was
like
like, yo, like I appreciate you like
yeah.
doing that instead of just being like, all right, I'm gonna wear like a
Yeah.
SpongeBob
I'm pretty
fit.
sure there was girls there who probably wanted to dress like Patrick when he was wearing those heels.
There was a couple people in there.
That's
Yeah.
I swear everybody
There-
dresses as that one.
There was this one girl, she had a cardboard box over her head, but she was Karen, like Plankton's wife.
Ah.
She had, and it literally like she painted it all, and it looked legit.
That's crazy. Like you would have had to really spend a lot of time on that because, like, I don't know when that like they got it. Well, I remember you sent that to me kind of early, but from whenever they saw that, had to have been like, all right,
I'm putting this together.
like every day spending time on that because that's insane.
There was the other one. I forgot what episode it's from, but Squidward wore like this pink outfit with like these little things coming out his head.
It was Krusty Krab. It was 2 Ks on it because I think it
Yeah.
was supposed to be like some promotion or something for the Krusty Krab. But I
Yeah.
remember that too. Yeah.
And somebody came in there. I was like,
Yeah.
that's tough. Cause I'm like, everybody else is just doing the basic. There was a girl in there. She had a big bubble. She was a dirty bubble.
The dirty making me dirt.
A lot of, yeah. Yes. Making me dirt. No, I didn't see any, I didn't see any man rays.
Damn.
I saw a lot of,
Man, right. Should have. Was there anybody from that actual like episode when they were all superheroes though?
I saw
'Cause
one.
that would have been a cool.
I
idea.
saw one, I think. I saw one that was,
What was they called? Get their team name.
I don't remember either, but it was just like Captain Magma.
Yeah.
The Quickster.
Tower.
Yeah, who else did I see in there? I saw a lot of doodle bobs. They had like giant pencils. It was cool.
Jeez.
So I saw one bull. I was like, I like this. He was doing, remember this, like, he was number one, that episode.
Oh, yeah,
He was the flying shopping list.
Okay.
So it had the ghost on the back, and he had the like the ingredient, to-do list or whatever. That
That's
was tough.
hilarious. That's a funny one.
Somebody had the Schmitty Werberman Jensen hat.
Okay.
A lot of good references. I was happy. That's why I really wanted to go. I was like, the tickets were like $20,
Mhm.
and I was just like, yo, like it's cheap, and like it's gonna be around a bunch of people that understand me. You know,
Yeah.
like
And
we
it won't-
all love one common thing.
And it won't just be like you're there and then some people would just like look at you and be like, why are you dressed up like that? Because like it's literally the theme of the part. So no
Yeah.
matter what, if you're
No
in
judgment
there-
zone,
exactly.
mad wholesome. Nobody was being weird. I was like, this is a
Yeah.
good
No
time.
matter what, if you see an outfit, you're gonna be like, oh shit, or be surprised. It's
Yeah.
not gonna be like, why'd you pick that? You know, so that's cool.
Yeah, I was impressed. I'm like,
Anybody
yeah.
dressed as Sandy?
I didn't see any
No?
Sandys. I didn't see any Planktons.
It's crazy.
Saw SpongeBob's, like your basic Sponge. One bull, I was like, yo, this is like tough. He I guess somebody else did it for him, but he like dyed his hair blonde, but like dyed the sky in SpongeBob, the flowers, like into his hair.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah, so it was just like the little flowers you usually see in the sky in SpongeBob, but it was just like pink and blue. And since we were in that blacklight room, they like lit up.
Oh, that's cool.
So I was like, that was sick. I was like, I would genuinely do that. Like that was kind of tough.
That's what's up.
Yeah, good time. Me and Quinn enjoyed ourselves. It was mad cold. It was just kind of like if I didn't already buy the ticket, I probably wouldn't have gone because I was like, yo, it's freezing out.
Mm.
But it's one of those things like, all right, we committed. I got money in this. Like,
It was inside though, right?
yeah, but still, like, you know what I mean? Like as soon as you get to the door, it's like, damn, like, or you know it's a cold day, it's like, damn, do I really want to go outside? Like, I'm so
Oh, okay, I see what
I'm
you
so
mean.
safe and warm in here.
Yeah.
You start making excuses for yourself. And I was like,
Yeah, I
nah.
like that.
Yeah, cool time. You should tag along next time.
I would definitely will.
Hopefully there's another one
I'ma
like in
make
the
sure I
summer.
Get a costume for that.
Bro, honestly, I might legit like
I'ma
do a
try to go
I'll do
all
it
out.
proper next time. And then we had like one drink. We were there like, and we just walked in and was like, all right, let's grab a drink. And I was like, I drove down here, so I'm not gonna draw. But we walk up and Quinn was like, what do you want to drink? I was like, honestly, anything. And he was like, how much are your Henny shots? And they were like $12. And he was like, never mind. So I just got us like 2 random drinks. And I just
Okay.
like they had like SpongeBob themed drinks.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was like, oh, like let me get the chum bucket.
Ew.
But it was good though. It was like vodka and like I think it was like 7-Up and like some like orange or some shit.
Wouldn't expect Plankton to use those ingredients.
Yeah, I don't know. It tasted good though. We were surprised, but yeah, it was cool.
Okay.
They also had food there, but it was like you know how like places if they want to keep food warm, they keep it under like a light. They had it in there, but they had a box. I just put this together now. I'm gonna explain in a second. They had the box of like where it was lit up is like keeping the food warm, but it was just stacks on like filled the whole glass to the brim. stacks on stacks on stacks of like those White Castle burgers,
Mm.
basically like sliders. And it did not click for me that those are supposed to be like Krabby Patties or something.
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here now, like I was like, why do they have like just a bunch of White Castle burgers in there?
That's funny.
But it was filled, bro. Nobody was eating them.
Damn.
Fun time. But we got bigger fish to fry. Mark has a vendetta right now because I sent him this article about how they got like hot air balloons flying over the US from
Yeah,
China.
bro. I got nothing wrong with, Chinese, but bro, when you start invading our territory like this, thinking that, shit's sweet, thinking you could fly over our heads, like we ain't gonna notice.
Yeah.
You gotta start going crazy on you, But no, I just think that's kind of crazy, honestly, like what happened and the fact that like yeah, that is to me it's just crazy to think about. Like the fact that they really came over in a hot air balloon and was like, okay, yeah, without saying anything, all that shit. So now there's definitely a problem.
Yeah. So for more context for y'all watching at home, I mean, it's been like national news for like a week now, but there was like, I don't know how they know it was Chinese. I don't know anything, to be honest. I just know that the fact that it happened,
Yeah, that I don't know. They probably had like more
a
like,
marking or something on it.
images or something that could like, identify it, but just didn't show us.
But yeah, there was like a hot air balloon type of aircraft thing that was flying over the US that they kept calling it like a spy hot air balloon. And yeah, it was like flying over the US for like a week, and they were kind of like they wanted to shoot it down, but they also wanted to wait until it was a place where they can shoot it down and it won't land
Makes
on
sense.
anybody.
Makes
Because
sense.
supposedly it was like the size of like 3 school buses or some shit they were saying. Like it was pretty
Wow.
big. At least like the balloon part.
Yeah.
So yeah, it like flew over the US for a hot minute over like the West Coast, and then it got shot down like in the Carolinas or something, or like that area, like Virginia area.
Huh.
And it landed in the water. So yeah, they're like grabbing pieces of it and like just trying to see what's up with it. But my thing is like I'm guessing there was nobody in it because I didn't hear anything about that. But I also like was reading the article. I don't know if you like read through all of it because it was like a little bit going on. But supposedly like from China's perspective, they were like, oh, like we didn't break any laws. Like that wasn't like it wasn't like a government hot air balloon. They were saying like that was just like just like somebody just for fun. Like it's not like
So
it wasn't like a government issued one. It was like somebody who just uses hot air balloons.
This is my question: was it used in state? Like, did it come up from
the U.S. and nah, bro.
Yes.
Like how you fly from China in a hot air balloon and like you just and this obviously I'm assuming remote control because again like who's gonna be up there for that long?
But that's what I'm saying. If you're saying it flew from the West Coast all the way over to this side,
Well, that's because we allowed it to because we were like we don't want to shoot it down just yet.
But also the thing is the fact that it can go for something like that long. That don't seem like somebody who.
No, it sounds like bullshit. Yeah.
Like that just seems weird. How do you just have something that can go that long, and just casually we're just traveling around the United States, surveilling with nobody in it? Like, come on, like that's just like that sounds a little weird.
And from what I read, like supposedly there was like they said that they were like it wasn't anything like with no harm. We didn't break any laws, but they were like because of how we reacted, we warrant the ability to react the same way for similar situations. Meaning, if we do anything close to that they'll react the same way when we like fly over there or something.
I'm being completely honest. I feel like now this is probably gonna sound low, but I feel like knowing China's government, I feel like they would do that immediately anyway.
True.
I feel like if we had did that first, I feel like they definitely would
probably would have had a similar response
immediately. Not even gave us the chance,
especially
to
if nobody's in there. Like
exactly, they would have thought the exact same thing. I'm not trying to say that like oh we're in the wrong but again like you're flying over our country with just I'm sounding so American.
Yeah.
You're flying over our country with something like that. And the only thing that just gets me is that whole thing like it flew from one side of the country to the other. Like that's just something like come on, that just sounds a little fishy,
Yeah. I mean, and for anything that's like it's like the Olympics, you know what I mean? It's like any other time, it's like, yo, like I hate it here, like this place sucks, honestly, like they don't care about us. But when it's somebody else trying to like fuck with us, it's like, yeah, we're fucking American, baby.
Yeah.
USA. Like
USA.
I saw a tweet. It was like or like a TikTok. And it was somebody was like me after returning from Europe for 3 weeks, going back to the US. And it was like them like in the airports, like, man, I fucking hate this place. This place sucks. And then it was like Walmart, like ice, ranch dressing. It's like USA, baby, I'm back.
USA.
But yeah.
Got all of that shit over there.
But yeah, like that sounds honestly like if it's true, it's true. Like it's weird. But also, there's another part of me where it's just like this is like heavy propaganda type shit, or the U.S. is trying to like it's like, oh, like China's sending hot air balloons. And then it's like it starts to build this whole thing of like giving us an excuse to go over there and like do fucked up shit.
No,
So
yeah.
I always try to be wary of that as well, of like how the shit is being worded and like once you start like actually reading into it. Cause when I first heard about it, I was driving and I had my GPS on. And that happens all the time where I'm just driving and I see like ding, and I see a little fucking notification. And then it's the most wild headline ever. And I just gotta like read that, be okay with it, and just keep driving. I don't know. That's why like a part of me is just like, damn, like I really want to turn off notifications for a lot of stuff. Cause one, they do those headlines to like draw you in. And then it's not good to read that stuff and just carry on with your day. Like imagine just reading like, oh, like, 5 dead after a plane crash and you just gotta carry on with your day. Like I was fine until I read that. Like that just fucks my head up.
Yeah. No, like I said, I'm like the same way too with thinking like I'm not trying to like think so much into it. Because when I first saw that in my head, the only thing I could think of is like, we want to keep this whole like treaty, with us and like China and whatnot, and keep things cool. And it's just in my head, like seeing something like that, I can only think like you said, it just gives us a reason to try to like do something. And
Mm.
then I immediately also think of Trump, and then how he like is always like, oh, the Chinese,
Hmm.
and I'm just like, bro, like
That's what I'm saying.
let's
Like,
let's not fall into that like reasoning.
but that's why it was happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like even the way they worded it, because I don't know if it was on my phone or just like somewhere else. But it was like, oh, like, hot air balloon or whatever got shot down, like the China spy balloon, whatever they're calling it.
yeah,
And then like it was a headline, and then there's like the little text, the preview text you see before it. It was like China thinks that the US is on a downfall. And it's like for me, it's like in my head, I'm like, duh. But two, there's like another part of like those people you were saying where it's like, oh, like China, like build the wall, like da 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 da. Those type of people were just like, nah, like America's not going downhill. Like they're just so like pro America
yeah,
that
yeah.
they can't handle reading that headline. They just like jump into outrage, and then politician says, "Oh, we're gonna go do this," and they're like, "Yeah, like they can't fly hot air balloons over here." Next thing you know, we're getting drafted, bro.
Yeah, no, I'm not getting drafted. I'm not getting drafted, bro. Tripping. I might play Call of Duty, but I ain't going. I ain't doing all that.
That's about it.
That's about it.
Yeah, that's really all it be for real. Because then either this is gonna die down and walk off, or it's gonna turn into a whole thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's definitely going to turn to a whole thing, especially like once like things starts getting serious with politics as far as an election and all that shit. But
Well, yeah, because that's also basically coming in a year. Basically, we're gonna have to see
exactly.
a billion freaking commercials, bro. I feel like we just got over this.
Joe Biden.
Joe Biden doesn't care about hot air balloons.
he or imagine he does, and he's like, Joe Biden actually wanted to keep it in the air. He has a hot air balloon himself. It's like, okay.
He actually gifted the president of China,
Hot
the
air
prime
balloon.
minister of China, hot air balloon for his 3rd birthday. Do you trust Joe Biden with your America?
Choose Trump. But no, I definitely am like, I'm trying to just like, I'm not saying I'll take both sides, because again, like they came onto our side, if that makes sense. But it's still just like, I'm not gonna sit here and just automatically point fingers, because again, they say it wasn't nobody in there and there was no harm. Cool, that could just be a thing for them to say. But at the same time, it's like, why are y'all
Why?
flying
Yeah.
these things in our air without our permission? Again, it might not be government made, but for something to fly from one end of the country to the other, that raises some red
Yeah.
flags. Like,
It's just hella fishy.
like it's just a little weird,
And it's not the first time. They always say they spot stuff all the time. So
UFOs.
yeah. I don't know, man. You seen Joe Biden's response that it was like the reporter asked him about inflation. Did you see that video?
I didn't.
There's a video. He's like at the podium or whatever, right? For like
Mhm.
in the White House or something.
Yeah.
And he was first off, you know how usually when you're at a podium, they kind of have that stance where it's like they're proper and they just stand in and like, their body language is good. He was like leaned over the podium and shit. Like he was at the
All
bar.
right, guys, what we got today?
And the reporter's like, do you take any blame for the inflation that's currently going on in this country? He's like, no, I do not. And she was like, I guess the reporter I don't remember who it was, if it was a man or woman, but the reporter responded, was like, oh, like, well, why not? Like they got offended by his response. And he was just like, it was already here when I got here, buddy. I was like, yo.
No.
Which honestly, True.
True. I was gonna say the exact same thing. Just because he just got into office does not mean that it's his fault.
And that it didn't
That's just
exist
been
before him.
carrying on for who knows how many presidents. There's no reason to just go and bring that onto him. That's
Yeah.
hilarious, though.
But like, I love that response though.
I would have said the same thing. I would have been like, "Why are you pointing it at my head?"
Yeah,
Like-
there was some when I saw the video. I saw so many people in the comments like, "Yo, like, but he's not wrong though."
Exactly.
But it was just a great like I never seen a president get like out of their presidential like bullshit like that. So he was like, it was already here when I got here, buddy.
That's some Barack Obama
I would
response right
yeah, I
there.
would have been like, yo, real shit, Joe. Like, talk your shit.
That's true. Like, bro, I just came into here and
Yeah.
that shit was as soon as I sat down, I had files and files of shit. Like, you can't say that it was me. I already got here.
Yeah. That's the thing that unfortunately, a lot of people don't understand. That it's very like minimal, or I guess that's the wrong word, but it's very rare when a president like gets into office or makes action that takes like an immediate impact. A lot of stuff that happens in this country is like, all right, yeah, I signed this bill, but it's not taking effect until like 2 years later or like 6 months later. Like it's never that instant. And you usually don't see the after effects or the results of it until even further beyond that.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I know for a fact that this is on record in one of our older episodes we've had, because we talked about it before when Trump was in office. I was just like, Trump was getting credit for a lot of the stuff that Obama did in his administration, that the effects were coming when he was in office.
Yeah.
So things were looking good for him. And also in the same breath, there was stuff that Trump has done that are taking effect during Biden's presidency that he's taking blame for or getting credit for.
That's what I was gonna say. Like a lot of these people, like I don't understand. Like you said, these things take time, and it just sucks that these new presidents are even again like anybody in office, like they go into, and it's just like they have no control over. Like
what happened before. Like you're literally going into a group project and just hopping in halfway through.
Halfway through, yeah.
So it's like there's a lot of shit that good and bad you have to take accountability for. Now I'm not saying Joe Biden is fucking. He's honestly like a shitty president. Like I'm not a fan of his presidency right now. To be honest with you, like he's been very inactive. I'm not saying he's done all bad or all good, but it's just like this is a very quiet and like inactive presidency. And some of the stuff is partially his fault, but there's also stuff that he's just inherited, right? Yeah, from the previous presidency that just falls on him. And I said that, or we both probably have said that on video in the past, where it's just like all the stuff that came from the past is going to happen and he's going to get the blame for. It also doesn't help that we're just slowly just regaining ourselves from COVID and all the after effects of that. Like all the stuff that got shut down back then and like building back up, it's slowly like the after effects of all of that is still just making its way in. In the same breath, Trump kind of got caught up with COVID shit, so it was kind of difficult. He didn't handle it the best. I'll be honest with you. I feel like any other president would have done a better job and like been not
100%.
Not denying that it was real or all that other shit.
I mean, bro, at that point, like you just give up on your president doing anything with it. If this man really says it's fake, like all right.
And then he got it.
Yeah.
And then he got vaccinated after he was talking all that shit.
It's just so stupid.
Yeah, but I always, I'm not a Biden fan in the same breath, but at the same time, when I hear people say it's like, oh, he's terrible, it's like, to be honest with you, like, a lot of it was like it could have been anybody in office, and a lot of the stuff would have still happened because it's just the after effects of previous like things that were done. But yeah, Joe was a G for that. Was it? What were they calling him before? When there was a meme of like it'd be like Joe Biden, but they put like a fucking like a North Face on him and like glasses and shit. What was they calling him?
I don't know. I can't think of it.
Joe. I don't know. Whatever. I'll remember it at some point. But that was who was talking just then.
that guy. That
he peeked out.
That ego, that other side of him came out.
Everybody was in the comments saying like, "Oh, Sleepy Joe, when he wakes up, this is what happens."
Bro, he probably knew that that's what they were gonna ask him, so he probably came out like, you know what, bro? I ain't even.
It ain't even my fault for real.
I ain't even sweating. His press, what do they call him? The people that handle the press and all that with him.
His PR, his press.
They were just like, look, they're gonna ask you these Jones, Joe. I know. It's annoying. I know.
Just let him know.
just let him know. Take it real smooth. It's all you out there, right? It's all you. Just be you. The worst thing he could have said to him. He was like,
I know.
Be me? Right.
Be me? Like
right.
For real? Like me?
Like me? All right, I bet you. I got you. Untucks his shirt.
All right, look. Anybody got something to say, let me know right now.
Right now. And if it's anything you gotta say to my face, we can handle it outside.
He's like, it was already here when I got here, buddy. Like, look at Joe being a G.
Man, Joe, let's go.
Yeah, I mean, prices of eggs kind of wild. So
Yeah,
it is what it is. Gas still like 3 something. Remember that shit was like
that shit was like at 5 lowest, 5 lowest, and then that shit was insane. You'd be lucky if you see something that was like 480. You're like, let's fucking go.
and that Sunoco on Fifth Street still ain't catch
That
up.
shit don't care, bro. It
Or
does not
Gerard.
care. They will put that shit onto the highest until they realize, like, all right, no one's coming.
Right.
no one's parking their car anymore outside of at the pumps.
I don't even think they care, to be honest. They're like, we made so much money off off of these prices. We chilling.
Bro, they are stacked. But yeah,
This shit is wild.
countries having people flying over us, and
And why that of all things? My thing is like, do you think nobody would notice? I feel like
I feel like
with anything that's just not.
I feel like it was more like, well, they definitely couldn't take anything like a plane, probably. I don't know. But in my head, it's just people probably realized that they seen the same thing going across different states, and they're just like, all right, this is getting a little weird. Like, it's more like, okay, you're up there, now you just come back down.
Mhm.
This thing was traveling. It wasn't
For a
just
hot minute.
it wasn't just standing there. Like, it was literally traveling. So you're just like, okay, people start catching, notice of it, and they're just like, all right, well, we gotta like tell the government about this thing. But yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen next, but I think it was something where they said, remember I saw a post, like I said, the whole treaty thing or something. Obviously not like the treaty, but something as far as gonna happen between that. So I don't know.
I wouldn't be. I don't know, man. Whatever. Look, if y'all want to fly hot air balloons, whatever. We gonna knock it down, I guess.
Go ahead. We're just gonna knock it out.
Yeah, just I can't help but feel disrespected. So I feel like you just gonna come out like it's that American shit coming out of me. It's just like you gonna come to my house,
You're just gonna
fly
on
shit over my house.
territory.
But
Nah, this is my air. It's my sky.
this world, I don't know. I saw like a video of somebody saying like, I guess there was a poll ran or something where people were asking like, I guess millennials or like Gen Z, like, oh, like if you're proud to be an American or you're proud of this country, and like a strong majority was like, nah. And everybody was like, oh, like that's what's wrong with these kids. They're not proud to be Americans anymore. And then the one guy who was like a little older, he was just like, why would they be? Like, think about like what's happened in the past like 20 to 30 years for real. Like we've seen like just 9/11 shit pop off. We've seen like 2 recessions, like COVID. The way we handle a lot of our shit is just super shitty.
I just think like our country was one of the last countries to actually, build its actual government, if that makes sense.
We're a younger country.
Exactly. And I just think without the time that every other country had, we had to catch up. And I just think we fucked up really early, and it's just almost impossible for us to catch back
Mhm.
up and be an actual country that understands not just the idea of being a strong government, but a government that cares about its actual citizens.
No, I mean they haven't given a shit about us in
Exactly,
forever.
but that's the thing.
That's
what
where
I'm
that's
saying.
where it kind of went downhill. Because back then it was like we were talking last week or whatever. It was just like houses are insane. Like most of us will never be able to own a home. Rent is gonna be insane.
Literally, it was just a conversation I was having with my mom. She was just like, the reason why kids are still living with their parents a lot of the time is because the price of buying a house is just insane.
And then the approval process just gets even worse. And
exactly.
then just financial literacy is just not taught at all in the country. So people just run up their credit or just don't have good credit to begin with, or inherit bad credit, because that's also another thing.
And it really does suck with the idea of also a lot of the like kids, I feel like, or more like young adults like us, it's like a fear of having to go to college and get a job doing something they don't like because
Because they make them pick at 18 fucking years old.
that. but more of the idea like they have to choose something that they know is going to make them money
Also,
because they realize the thing that they do love doing isn't going to give them money at all to actually live a life that they want, you know? And that's what really sucks, you know? Like, so they're sitting here thinking, like, oh, you know, I want to do art. You know, I really love doing art. Now, art, I could say you could really get into it and make a lot of money out of it. Yeah. But that's
if you're
very,
if you're
very, very rare that
one in
that
a
happens.
trillion, yeah,
Exactly. So it's like, it sucks to think that they're saying this, but then they grow up, and now it's like they can't even do that. They have to do something with, like, I don't know. It's just all this shit. But
just to be like a nurse or engineer or
yeah,
something, like
and, you
feel like you
know,
have to do something
and
like that,
and I'm not
or
saying any
lawyer.
of those jobs are bad, but
It's not for everybody though.
but yeah, that's what I'm saying. But for somebody who didn't have that in mind and wanted to do something else, it just sucks that that's what they have to do in order to actually live a life that they want, that's comfortable, and that they can get a house or whatever that's good, you know? So that's where I think it kind of like sucks at that part, you know? So because I feel like I see a lot of these people now that are just like they're buying these like apartment buildings. And I'm just like, damn, like how do you have all this money? And I'm
I
just
mean,
a lot
that's
of
old money though. That's people that just always have had it. You know
well,
what I
I do
mean?
see a lot of younger people that are like probably maybe like 5 years older than us, if anything, you know,
Hmm.
maybe like early 30s, you know, whatever. But still, I'm just thinking like again, like man, like shit, you probably got like a really crazy ass job. But again, it's just in my head, like maybe a lot of these people like me don't want to like have those jobs that maybe like they suck, you
Yeah,
know, and hate their lives every day.
facts. And I mean, a lot of time that's another conversation I feel like we should have, where it's just we don't have enough time to bring it up today because I feel like we were going for a while.
Yeah.
But just like you see, like on surface level, you're like, damn, like this person has this. But then when you really look into it, there's like other shit that you'll figure out. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, like that's why. That makes a lot of sense. But going back to like the other part was just like you said, like with college, it's like if you do that, all right, cool. Now you're in debt for the next 40 years of your life. And you also have to, if you want to buy a home, or if rent is insane, you're renting for the rest of your life. And it's like, why would we have a reason to be proud of what this country is right now for us? It has not served us really at all, other than the fact that we live here.
Yeah.
Healthcare is ridiculous. Like your life could be ruined in a minute if you don't have healthcare or anything like that, and you have all these medical bills. Like,
I just also think like again, like it's like healthcare. Like other countries don't even have to pay for healthcare. That's on another subject. But it's just that idea where I think we would really like I'm not saying we will love it immediately, but I think we would really appreciate the country if we just felt like we actually were getting a little bit of help. But it just
or feel
feels
like we're working towards something. And
yeah.
a lot of people are burnt out because it just feels like, all right, like I'm doing this every day, but I'm just staying in the same spot. Like
Yeah.
I'm just surviving.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get
all it
by.
is. That's really all it is.
So that's where it gets tough. But yeah, we working. We trying to get out of it. We gonna get out of it, Mark. We're not gonna be stuck in this cycle, bro.
We're not.
We got
We're not.
this. We playing this smart. We're gonna do the right thing. And I hope y'all have the same thing happen to y'all as well. We hoping, we rooting for y'all. We hope everything work out for y'all too. But
Yes, everybody.
we love you guys. See you next week. Bye.